Hi everyone, my name is Jen, and today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the importance and the benefits of putting your child in an early child care program. I want to start out by showing everyone this chart. Now I know it's a little bit tough to see, but this is basically showing us the difference of statistics for children that were in some sort of early childhood program and children that were not. And this top line is saying about the children that were ready for school at age 5. The second one shows you the children that were committed to school at age 14. The next line is their basic achievement at age 14, and then the high school graduates. And then the last line is showing you those earning at least $20,000 annually by the age of 40. And the light purple is the children who attended some sort of early childhood program, and the dark purple are the children who did not. Now, obviously, you can see that the statistics are much higher and a greater chance for success in the children that have started an early childhood program. And that chart came to us from the Center for Public Education, which is a great resource that can give you lots of information about the different schools, about the programs of schools, and things like that. So being a center director of an early child care program here in Connecticut, I see day to day the benefits that our program has on the children in their future and in their lives. I also know how important it is today more than ever to have that early start in life and to have that building block that they can build upon when they get to their educational life going forward. So the first benefit of putting your child in some sort of early education program that I want to talk about today is their social development. Some centers take children as early as 6 weeks old, and even starting from 6 weeks old and forward, your child is socially developing. I know that it tugs at everyone's heartstrings, when a parent brings in their little infant and they're dropping them off for that first day and the child is crying and the parent is crying as they leave. But you have to know that that's just part of their development. That child is going to learn to trust others. They're going to learn that, if they cry, we're going to feed them. And if they, if they need their diaper changed, someone's going to be there to change it for them. So that's kind of their first lesson in life, is they're learning trust and trust in others other than just the parent. And that's really important in the social development. Another important thing with social development that they're going to learn is how to interact from peers. This starts even at the early stages of infants when you put children on a mat and they're a tummy time facing each other, or you put them on a mat with a ball. Even though they're not necessarily playing together, even making eye contact with others is a part of their social development. And as they get older, as they get to the toddler stage and they're learning how to share, they're learning, the teachers are positively encouraging them how to, express themselves, even as little as a toddler, learning to say no, or no thank you, or using maybe a sign language even to show no thank you. Even as early as that, you're teaching them how to interact and how to express themselves. And then as you get older, you can really explain to preschoolers, to use their words and to use their feelings and things like that, to say, can I share with you, or can I come play with you? So you're really teaching children how to interact properly with others. And that skill is obviously something that is going to continue throughout your entire life. Another huge thing in the social development is that children are learning in a child care center, in a quality program, they're learning to focus on an activity and to be able to follow directions. Any quality child care program is going to have some sort of curriculum or educational background that your children will follow. So even as early as toddlers, when they're sitting down to do an art project and finger painting, they're learning to sit for a few minutes and to put their attention into something. And then even when they get to that 2-year-old spot, they're learning how to, sit down and eat lunch. So they're learning how to control themselves for even if it's 10 minutes. And, you're building on those skills each age group. And that's really what you want to see, is the progress throughout the years. And then you want to see by the time they get to preschool that maybe they can sit for a 20-minute circle time and read stories and sing songs and things like that. And maybe even sit and do a workbook or write in a journal. These are things, again, that are going to carry through your entire life. The next benefit that I want to talk about is that your child in an early child care program is going to get that first step on their educational career going forward. Education.com talks about all the skills and the fundamental basics that your children are expected to know by the time they get to kindergarten. The school is getting more challenging every year, and they're expected to know more and more. And how else, can you do that is prepare them better, but to be in some sort of program where a professional can help your child get to that level that they need to be. Education.com talks about simple skills that your child will need to know by kindergarten, even self-help skills, knowing how to blow their own nose, knowing how to go to the bathroom by themselves, dress themselves, be able to wash their hands on their own, clean up after themselves. And yes, these may seem like simple and basic things that you probably encourage at home as well. However, I know we're all busy families. Everyone is very busy and tired when they get home at night. A teacher and a professional can really focus on this with your child at home or at school and can do this individually with your child. Other things they're expected to know is intellectual skills, things like knowing some songs, being able to rhyme, knowing the family members, knowing their names. They can communicate personal needs, if they need to use the bathroom or if they're thirsty, things like that. They also can retell some stories is one of the things they're expected to know by kindergarten. And again, these are all things that you may not necessarily have time to do at home. And these are all things that the teachers can work on with the children. And while they're doing this, they can also do it socially. They can learn together and they can build off each other, things like that. A few of the other things, physical skills that they're expecting by kindergarten, being able to climb, being able to, know how to play with a ball, even things such as, swinging, things like that. And again, these are probably things that you're thinking, oh, I do that at home. But again, it may be something you do once in a while, where at a program they can do this day to day. And they can really solidify this skill for your child and make them confident and comfortable when they're ready to go to school, that they're prepared. Another piece of the early child care system is that these teachers are professionals. If you're at a quality child care program, these teachers have background in this field and they have training. They have training in child development, in early childhood education programs, and things like that. These teachers are here to assist you. They're here to make the future brighter for your children, and they're here to assist you with what's best for those children. So one of the things with that is one of the huge benefits is that you have their help from a professional. The teacher should know red flags in your child's development. And if you're at a quality program, a lot of centers do evaluations every so often throughout the year. They may use, there's several different kinds, but they do something that kind of monitors their progress throughout the year. And then it can also point out some red flags. If there's areas of their development where they may need a little extra help, or they may need some extra resources outside the home, things like that. So really utilize that, and you want to use all your resources possible. Now, I have here, this is called a pocket assessment. And this is just one of the different kinds of assessments. There are all different brands, all different kinds, depending on the age group and things like that. But this is just one example. And this is an evaluation that some centers use to evaluate the children throughout the year. Now, some centers, depending on the center, this one is designed so that you can do one fall, winter, and spring in a program. And these are just basic questions based on the age. So for example, response to simple directions. So, if you tell a child, come sit down, will that child come and sit? And then there's a few options. The teacher has to fill in a bubble. And the bubbles either say not evident, developing, or evident. And so that these can let you know, is this just a starting skill? Is this something they've mastered? Or is this something that they haven't quite grasped yet? This way, too, it's done 3 times a year so that you can see their progress. And there's ones for different age groups. There's a preschool one and things like that. So it's really great. That just kind of gives you a general overview. And also, like I said, it can point out maybe where your child needs that little extra push, or if that child needs a little extra resource. This and your teacher together can really help you find that and find the proper resources for your child. Now, another thing with that is that your children will get individualized care. Now, I know sometimes when parents think of child care, they're just thinking of a big group of children and the teacher kind of watching over them. If you are in any sort of quality child care program, there should be individualization. For example, things like the evaluation, that's individualized. Those teachers are observing your child on a day-to-day basis, watching their progress, watching the tasks they complete, watching how they complete them, and things like that. Also, they should be implementing things for specific children. If they notice that one or a few of the children are having a hard time with, in a preschool room, they may notice some of the kids are having a hard time cutting with scissors. Maybe their fine motor skills aren't quite up to where the teacher would like them to be and where it's developmentally appropriate for them to be. So that teacher may take that knowledge that they've gained and they might put it into their program. So they might say, next week I'm going to add a couple extra activities on cutting. So for art, I might add a few things where they have to cut things out. Or I might add in the sensory table, I might put pieces of construction paper and scrap paper and encourage them to tear up paper. And that'll work their fingers and their muscles and their hands. So things like that. There should be individualization. So you should be getting that at a quality child care program. Now, I understand that some parents and families are hesitant about sending their children to a child care center or an early child care program. Now, if you do your research and you find a quality, good child care program, it will be worth it in the long run for your child. Now, I know one of the things, you really just have to do your research and look around. One of the things that I know that parents tend to worry about is that your child will not receive individualized attention. That it may just be a big group with, one teacher with, 20 children running around, and that, how can that teacher get to know my child? Again, you just need to look around for the right center for you and your family. So if that is, we really want a lot of individualization, maybe look for a smaller center or look for a center that has uses lower staff to child ratios, things like that. Also look for things when you tour centers. You want to look for things like evaluations or like, you can ask the teachers, how do you create your curriculum? Can you modify that curriculum based on your class or is it a set structure? So you want to kind of look for those key things that are going to point you in the right direction for individualization. Another thing I know families tend to worry about with childcare is the financial aspect of it. Childcare, and especially a really great quality program, can be expensive, and that is one of the key factors for families today. One of the things that I say, if this is a concern for you, is to definitely look into your resources in the community. For example, Connecticut has a program called Care for Kids. Care for Kids is a great program for families that families can apply for, and based on their income, they can get a certain amount of tuition paid for them in an early child care program that is paid for by the state, so you only have to pay a portion of the tuition. Now, I know most states have some sort of version like this, but Care for Kids is in Connecticut, and if you want more information about that, you can go to ctcare4kids.com, and you can learn all about that great program that's helping families really get a head start for their children. So just remember overall, just to recap a little bit, you definitely should look into an early child care program for your child. Your children will benefit socially, they will benefit in their future and their educational career, and they will benefit on an individual basis as well, and they will benefit from the professionalism from those teachers. So please, I urge you to take the chance to go look around, do your research, and find a quality program. And in the long run, your child will have a brighter future.